a lot of folks in the general public, they think every Navy SEAL is doing the missions that they've seen on the news, the Halo jumps and the hostage rescues and all that. Without giving away any state secrets, like what are the differences?
I believe the regular teams are a tier 3, which is like ready to go in 72 hours, where tier 1's 24 hours. You get more high value targets at the tip of the spear versus the other side, which is really weird. I'm like, we're taking this to the enemy, like we're going to kick some butt. And I don't think I fired my first deployment. I didn't fire my gun once. Right. Now there was guys like I think our snipers, there was a few individuals that definitely did. They got a couple kills, but it's not anywhere the same as the other side. Right. Not even close. Everyone's got multiple kills. Like you are a callous real warrior. Yeah. Just turning into a savage because that's the way you have to do it to survive. Where the other side, like when I got to team 2, I was like fiending to shoot something. How you doing, friends? This is Eddie from the UNAFRAID podcast. We wanted to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, especially all our first responders and military. Thank you so much for holding down the fort while we get to spend this time with our family and friends. We know that a lot of you wish that you could be back here or wherever it is, enjoying that food, but we do not take it for granted, and from our hearts, sincerely, thank you so much for answering the call selflessly and doing the job to keep us all protected. We love the heck out of you guys, and we want to honor you as many times as we possibly can, and this is one of those times. On another note, we have a lot of other podcasts that are coming up, different stuff coming up. We got a lot more faith-based stuff and some other pretty neat topics that we're going to dive into. So we hope that you join us, and you guys be safe, and remember, it's about giving, and making other people feel awesome. That's what it's about. You guys take care. Love you. All right, this is, what chapter is this?
Foxtrot?
Chapter Foxtrot. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Fox. Chapter 6.
Now you're just showing off. All right, so now...
Where are we in the book?
You're done with Buds. You're done with SQT.
Yep.
You're wearing a Trident. You're driving east, and you're checking in at SEAL Team 2, the legendary... Team 2 that's actually technically the first ever SEAL team.
Because of the time zone. Yeah.
Right.
So SEAL Team 1 and SEAL Team 2 were commissioned on the first day. SEAL Team 2 actually first by a couple hours because of the time zone. Yeah, it was an experience. I don't remember a lot of it because I was trying to take it all in. Therefore, I don't remember anything. But probably a lot of deer in the headlight kind of stuff going on. But it was cool to finally be there for sure, and just be around guys that have been there and have tons of experience, a lot more experience. So I learned a lot about being humble. You think your shit doesn't stink until you get out there, and then you realize that it does. Because guys, they got more experience, and the only way to really get experience is to be immersed in that environment and do it yourself. We can sit in classroom, watch videos, talk to people all day long, but nothing compares to actually doing it with your hands, actually being there, immersed in that environment.
And time-wise, some of these guys we're talking about that had that experience, this is Global War on Terror is kicking off. Those guys had probably been overseas in Afghanistan.
Yeah, like they had a couple years, not long, maybe a year or two, but they knew what was going on.
But way more than folks had in the last 30 years before that.
Yeah, but I don't know if Team 2, I don't think they deployed in the Global War.
I meant the guys from the other command who were...
Oh, yeah. There's definitely guys with experience for sure. That did.
Who influenced.
There was guys that did the Noriega ship attack. So there was definitely guys that did some ops and tons of training.
Right.
So, yeah, been there, did that.
Was there much in the way of hazing?
No, as long as you keep your mouth shut, do your job.
And are huge. Does that help?
Being bigger guy probably helped, I think, a little bit. But I definitely got tightened up one night in the back of a van. I was drinking, I was drunk, and was running my mouth, and they just kind of like pinned me down, like 6 of them, and just gave me a talking, and I deserved it, and that was it, and corrected the problem, and move on. There we go.
So how's the marriage going right now?
I'd say probably about this time, I'm being consumed by the teams for sure. So cracks started to emerge. Thinking about back in Team 2, one event that really pops up is it was a Super Bowl, and I think it was the Raiders and Bucks. I think you probably know better because you wrote
But it was definitely the Bucks.
Yeah, Raiders and Bucks.
Because Mike Allstott, Warren Sapp were on that team.
Gruden was the youngest coach, I think, at the time to win the Super Bowl.
Chucky.
Yeah, they beat the Raiders, and I had my buddy Joe, my bud's roommate, over, and we were all drinking, of course, and I guess I was so into the game because I was really a big football nerd, really into the game, and I guess she wasn't involved. She wasn't like one that would sit down and watch the game. She was kind of doing her own thing. I guess she got ticked off. I don't remember all the details, but I do know that I got charged with a freaking steak knife. And like when it came out, I just kind of grabbed her wrist and then just like snapped the knife. And it was like right in front of my friend. My friend's like, Joe, he's like, what the heck is going on? And I'm just like, another day in the life.
Yeah, and that's not normal.
It's not normal. It's like, what's happening right now? And I'm not going to put it all on her. I mean, she wasn't my priority. The family was not the priority. So I'm definitely not going to put all the blame, but I didn't appreciate being charged with a knife for sure.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, she's dealt with you being in the field a lot as a Marine. She's dealt with you being at Buds, being gone all the time.
Yeah, it started to stack.
Yeah.
You just started to stack, and I kind of blew it off.
Like most guys go on a guy's trip for 5 days and they come back and their wife's angry. You've kind of been gone for ever now.
Since probably, especially since the SEAL teams, because I mean it consumes you. It really does. It consumes you. So, but there is a way because I watched with my own eyes, guys balancing it the correct way. So there is a way for sure.
It can be done.
Didn't do it.
And those guys that did that, some great operators.
Great operators, but they all had one thing in common: their faith. That was one thing they all had in common is they followed Christ. So that tells you something.
Right.
There's no way to put it. That was what they did. That was the common denominator across the board.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know much about it. Like we know, I was scared. I was like, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're not ready for that.
Right.
So at this point, I mean, you're preparing for war, right?
Yeah, but yeah, you're just like, it kept changing.
It's real.
It is real because there's conflict going on.
Right.
But at that time, we're like going back and forth. I think we were going to Germany at first. Like, there's no war in Germany.
Right.
All right, now we're going to freaking like South America. Then it went to Africa, I think. It bounced everywhere. And then it was like Afghanistan, and then it was not, and then it was Iraq. And then finally at the end, it was like, all right, we're going to northern Iraq and Mosul. And we're going to do DAs, which is direct action, which is kicking in the doors and getting bad guys. So my brain's telling me, here's what it's going to be. And then when you get there, it's totally different.
And you're in a task unit.
Yeah. So yeah, you got your task unit. We had our Humvee dudes, our mobility guys. We had our recce, which is snipers. And then we had our assault teams. And I was a part of a assault team. I was like a up and coming, wannabe breacher for my first deployment. So I would like help out with the breachers when everything. I'd be like a secondary, they call it a secondary breacher. I didn't have a breaching school, but I knew how to do charges, just because, the senior guys taught me.
Right.
Which is, again, back to the wisdom and experience, right? It's great to have guys that know what they're doing.
Right. And maybe even better than going to the school.
Exactly. Yeah. So they just hands-on. You can't beat the hands-on.
So what's the feeling of knowing after, being after this since you were probably 7 or 8 years old, you're going to war, you're on a SEAL team, the big game.
That feeling really never hit until I went over to the tier 1 side.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is real, because I knew the ops, I knew the risk, I knew it was real.
Let's talk about that difference. A lot of folks in the general public, they think every Navy SEAL is doing the missions that they've seen on the news, the Halo jumps and the hostage rescues and all that.
Right.
Without giving away any state secrets, like what are the differences
I believe the regular teams are a tier 3, which is like ready to go in 72 hours, where tier 1's 24 hours. So there's only, I think there's only 3 groups that really fall into that category. The Navy's tier 1, obviously the command would be one of them, but you just it's a different mission. You get more high value targets at the tip of the spear versus the other side. But yeah, which is really weird. I'm like, we're taking this to the enemy, like we're going to kick some butt. And it wasn't a lot of, I don't think I fired my first deployment. I didn't fire my gun once. Right. Now there was guys like I think our snipers, there was a few individuals that definitely did. They got a couple kills, but it's not anywhere the same as the other side.
Right.
Not even close. Everyone's got multiple kills, got purple hearts. I mean, they've been in it
right
multiple times, not just once, like multiple times. Like you are a calloused
real warrior. Yeah.
Just turning into a savage because that's the way you have to do it to survive. Where the other side, like when I got to team 2, it wasn't like that at all. I was like fiending to shoot something. It just never happened. Just, it's like right place, right time. You can't chase it. It was one of those things, but once you get to the other side of the command, it's like, you know what's happening, and it's going to be happening every night, every other night, every third night. Like, it's just happening.
Right.
It's just it's your job, you know?
Yeah, I guess we'll get into that down the road, and we'll get into this deployment in the next chapter. But anything else in this time that you think?
I do want to say, like, just because like guys that didn't go to the command, they still did great things, still great warriors, still great operators, you know. But like we've talked about briefly, some of them kind of act like they did a little bit more, or kind of show, and they've never even fired the freaking gun.
Right.
And which that again, it's right time, right place. You can't say it's not like that was their choice, but you know, don't pose, don't act like you did something when you didn't.
Right.
So and I mean, I know that feeling. My whole 4 years in the Marines, I didn't do anything. I did nothing. I didn't even deploy. So I know the feeling. It sucks.
Yeah. It's not necessarily their fault.
No, it's not their fault at all. Like, but just
they tried. They went to buds. They did everything they were supposed to do.
I mean, just be real. There's nothing's better than someone that's real. Nothing's worse than someone that's being a poser.
Yeah.
And put up this freaking fake
in anything in life.
In anything in life. Yeah. Not just, stolen valor. Yeah. Because you can still be a SEAL and do stolen valor.
Right.
100%. So
yeah. If you claim to do something you didn't do,
you're a posing piece of crap.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
Yeah. That would be like me claiming to write a book I didn't write.
Right. I mean, that'd be me claiming to say that I wrote this whole book, but I'd be posing because I did not write this whole book. You did it.
Right.
So
well, we did it together. Team effort.
We did it together.
Go team.
But you did the most of the writing.
Well, the actual physical.
Yeah, like I helped with edits and kind of tweak some things, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's again, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't if that wasn't the case.
You wouldn't be here if I was fake either.
Right. Right. That's right. Goes both ways, right?
It goes both ways.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
That's it for Foxtrot. We'll see you again next chapter.
See you guys.